I made 5 designer frame dupes for under $5 each. I cannot believe these came from the Dollar Tree. Keep watching. Hello, my YouTube people. How you doing today? I hope that you are great. I have dupes from Dolce Gabbana, Pottery Barn, and Mackenzie-Childs. Let me know which one is your favorite. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around to the end because the last one is just gorgeous. Challenge number 1. Checkerboard Luxe inspired by Mackenzie-Childs. I love this frame. I thought this frame was just absolutely gorgeous. So I said, I know what to do. So we went to the Dollar Tree and got what we needed. You know, I've been watching all of these dupe videos and I says, you know, I'm going to put my hand in there. I'm going to try it myself. So I went to Dollar Tree and I looked around for all of these materials. First, you just paint the canvas with white chalk paint and paint the little frame with white chalk paint as well. I love the way the chalk paint adheres to just about everything. This is my go-to paint for everything and I just use it as a base. And then I went ahead and put some gold metallic on this frame because I wanted to get it as close to the original as possible. Dollar Tree frames are the perfect blank canvas. They're light, easy to paint, and can take embellishments like a dream. When you're creating a designer look, pay attention to the feel of the piece. Not just the color, texture really makes a huge difference. I had these gold flakes and I just thought that it would just embellish and accentuate the texture and the color, and I love the way that this came out. What do you guys think? So then I had the blank canvas and I went ahead and got the trusty decoupage napkin out in this checkerboard pattern that I found and went to town decoupaging. I covered the canvas with the decoupage and just continued the process. I did something a little bit different this time though, guys. I put a little piece of wax paper over and I found that that prevented a lot of the wrinkling when laying this down, and I noticed that my decoupage was a whole lot flatter. I've seen people do this with saran wrap, but I thought that it would be easier for me to do it with the wax paper, and it worked like a dream. I love this collection. This collection is just so pretty and it just fits my aesthetic. It fits the fall season, and expect for me to do a whole lot more using this Mackenzie-Childs collection because I am just obsessed with it. I went ahead and I went all around the canvas, covering up the whole thing with the Mod Podge and the napkin just to have that clean effect. What do you guys think of this? Do you think that this is easy? Do you think that you would try this? I don't know. I just see how, I just love the way it looks. I went ahead and I put another layer of Mod Podge. I printed out a piece to go into the frame, just similar to the original, but not quite. And I just went ahead and traced the little back frame onto the printed piece, cut that out and put that on the back, but I glued it directly onto the canvas. I glued the sheet of the printout onto this first, and then I went ahead and glued it directly onto the canvas. I took the little back frame piece off because we were not going to need that. So you see how I glued it onto the base, because when I glue this frame on, I'm only going to glue it from the bottom, not at the top, because that's where we're gonna stick our picture. That's where we're gonna put our picture through the top. So make sure that you don't glue the frame entirely onto the canvas. And if this is your first time here, my name is Maria. I go by A Talented Latina. If you see value in this video, please like, please subscribe, but most of all, guys, please comment. You know I love all of your comments. I went ahead and I cleaned all of that out, and I noticed that the Mackenzie-Childs was not a very clean check. So I decided to use the same gold and kind of distress in the gold and black areas just to give it that worn look. And I just love the way that this came out. It just gave it some depth. It gave it a little bit of grunge. I love this Mackenzie-Childs piece. I think that this is so beautiful and perfect for fall decor. It is evergreen, and I just think that it is so pretty. As in my profession, I'm a designer, so I'm privy to all of the trends that are coming, and I love the fact that this encompasses kind of like the circus trend that's fast and upcoming. You're gonna see a lot of Harlequin designs, a lot of black and white checkers, and I just love how Mackenzie-Childs did this with the gold touches and the fact that the squares look distressed. I think that it is a beautiful collection, and I will be making more dupes with this brand. Again, I love distressing the white parts, even the black parts, and I just feel that it just completed the whole piece. So, would you guys try this? What do you think? Challenge number 2. This one is really pretty. It is a blue Dolce & Gabbana dupe. I love this frame, but there's no way I was gonna pay $415 for this piece. So I said, I can make this. I ran to the Dollar Tree and got a large frame and some peel and stick. This was my opportunity to introduce how I use some of the peel and stick. There is another video coming for that, so I don't want to spoil it, but this is the first one, and I loved to use it. I loved using the peel and stick. I think it came out so beautiful. I think they have so many patterns at the Dollar Tree, and I am just excited to bring more of those videos your way. So I'm mixing a really pretty shade of blue, and all I did was add black to the blue, a little bit of brown, more blue, a little bit of black, more blue, until I got this really beautiful shade. Now guys, you see where the frame is kind of like not taking the paint? You should definitely sand the frame down because it has kind of like a gloss. So before you apply paint, sand it down. So when you're gonna go ahead and peel and stick this, just take off a little bit of a portion of it and then make sure that it's even before you go ahead and put the rest down. I went ahead and I painted the inside portion where the picture would go with the same color as I painted the frame. And that just elevated the whole piece. This piece is it's almost like a direct knockoff. I love this dupe because it gave me the opportunity to use everything from the Dollar Tree. I thought this peel and stick was gorgeous. I ended up taking the last piece of this, so hopefully you can find it at your Dollar Tree. I went ahead and I measured just to make sure that we are straight and in the middle. Drew a little bit of the line and glued my frame similar to the one that we just did. I am just going to glue it on the bottom and on the sides and leave the top free so we can stick the photos right in there. Don't forget when you're doing this, guys, to take off those little black things that hold the frame in place. Otherwise, you're gonna have holes poking through. And another thing, what you're gonna wanna do is after you mark down where you're going to place this, you're going to wanna use glue, a hot glue. But at the same time, you're also going to want to use some Gorilla Glue because I noticed that after I pasted this down with the glue that it started to come back up. So I went ahead and off camera, I used some Gorilla Glue just to secure the frame, put something heavy on it and let it dry, and that did the trick. The peel and stick is gonna have like a little waxy coating. So hot glue really doesn't adhere to that very well. So I did have to go back and use some Gorilla Glue, and that did the trick. You're gonna wanna make sure that this piece is secured down. This piece isn't going anywhere. Your photo is going to go directly on top. Again, do not glue the top portion of this frame. You want your photo to want to go in through the top. And if you glue the top, then you're not going to be able to do that. So just make sure that you remember that tip. I almost forgot. This is where your picture is going to go through. Make sure that that's glued down so that it will easily go through. Then I went ahead and put it right back into the frame, and it just looks so pretty. But guys, I didn't like the way it looked unfinished on the back, so I went ahead and painted the back with the same blue just so it can be finished. You can touch up any of the little pieces afterwards, and this paint will blend right in. But again, guys, make sure that you sand the frame before you paint. What do you think? But guys, this one, oh, this one with the peel and stick. Stop it! What? This is so pretty. I could have easily printed out the pattern that was on the original frame, but when I saw this, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, and I just love the way this looks. What a way to use Dollar Tree peel and stick. I am just obsessed with it. I just love it so much. Challenge number 3, Pottery Barn white floral frame. I held on to this piece from the Dollar Tree for months. I says, what am I gonna do? I didn't want to do what other YouTubers were doing. So when I saw this at the Pottery Barn, I says, oh, I know exactly what I want to do with this. And hi guys. So then I decided, I said, oh, I'm gonna take this off with a heat gun, but I didn't want to melt the plastic, and I didn't want to break the mirror. So what I ended up doing was putting a piece of paper towel underneath the mirror, applying the heat, and gently trying to pry it off with this little spatula stick. I went at this with about 2 or 3 coats of chalk paint because I didn't want it to have that streaky effect. So I made sure it was well covered before I went and distressed it with the gold. Now the original Pottery Barn is, I think it's ivory or ivory accent, and I just wanted to give it a little bit of a distressed look to kind of mimic that ivory kind of finish. But then I thought it would be really pretty if I did it with gold, because gold distress just looks so nice. So I went ahead and I actually printed out a picture of the ocean in black and white, put that in the center, and then distressed it after. And I really love the way that this is looking. Right after I did this, I went and I got a paper towel and I started to wipe off some of the distress just to kind of make it look smudged. And I think that really made it look really natural and really pretty, and it just gave it the effect that I was going for. So what do you guys think? Would you guys try this? I think this was really easy to do. That doesn't look plastic at all. And if you find that you still don't, if you put too much, just go ahead and put a little bit of water on a paper towel and just keep smudging until you get the desired look. What do you guys think? I ended up going in there and adding more distress because I just like that, but I love it. I love the way that this came out. Challenge number 4, Williams Sonoma floral frame with gold. This piece is so beautiful. It is $130, and in this economy, I don't know who's gonna spend that type of money on a frame when you have stores like Dollar Tree and videos like this that are going to teach you how to do it for less than $5. So here we go. I took the frame apart and I got some popsicle sticks from the Dollar Tree, and I got these little stickers for $1.25. These stickers are so good to use. I went ahead and I cut out the frame out of an old Amazon box just to give it that structure that's on the inside. I would also use this with a metal piece. I would put metal pieces in there, but I didn't have any metal pieces, and I wanted to really try and see how I could make it look with cardboard, and I think it came out pretty good. When you're looking at it in the photo, when you look at it when it's on the wall, you really can't tell that the piece that's inside is cardboard. I'm really proud of this piece and I love this frame. This is going to be, I think I want to make more frames with this floral element to it because I just think that it's really beautiful and it's really classic, and you can do this with anything. You can do it with a floral pattern for fall, you can do it with leaves, you can do it with pumpkins, you can do it for the holidays. The possibilities are really endless with the kind of border that you can place on this. And Dollar Tree has this really good frame that has that border that you can easily place your artwork in. So I decided to go ahead and make the frame out of cardboard, and I don't think that it looks too bad. And I now am going to measure and see how it looks within the frame. I think that looks okay. Gonna go ahead and put it in to measure how thick it is and see if it all fits in the frame, and we're going to be good to go. Once I did this, I decided that I did not want the cardboard double frame stuck onto that backer cardboard. So I decided to take that off, and I printed out the same floral that I had from the pink frame. I measured out the strips to go in that frame border and cut those out. So now I'm gonna put the pieces of dot stickers onto this frame to simulate the texture that's on the gold frame. I totally realized that I was sticking this on backwards, and then I says, no, I don't want all of the little lumpies and bumpies. So I ripped everything off and I turned it around and started to stick the dots back on the right way, where it's a little bit more smooth. Yep, I had that aha moment. I said, oh, what am I doing? I want the other side. So I took those off and went ahead and started over. I like showing you these little bloopers because nothing is perfect in this YouTube universe, and I want to show you that it is okay to make mistakes because we can easily correct them. If you make a mistake doing it, you can always fix it. This is DIY. We're not making production here, we're having fun. I am a perfectionist and I do like to make things look as perfect to original as possible, but I'm also not gonna stress myself out to make something so perfect, and neither should you, because once you do that, you lose the fun in the process, and you don't want that. So after I have everything stuck on, I went ahead and I Mod Podge sealed it all. So this is just going to make sure that all of this looks like it's one piece, and I'm gonna go over it with about 2 or 3 coats of Mod Podge just to fill in those little areas and make sure that everything just looks like it was hammered metal as opposed to something being stuck on. Make sure that you have a nice coating of Mod Podge on there, and this is going to give it the desired look. I think that this is, you know, right now it doesn't look like anything much, but as we go on, I just think that it looks really pretty. After it all dries, I got 3 types of metals. So I decided to go ahead and paint it with my go-to metal first, and then accent it with the other metals, adding a little bit of a black color to it to give it some shading, and just going over it a few times just to make sure that I am giving it that hammered metal effect and not that perfect kind of metal effect. I want it to look like it's a little bit worn, and I think that doing it that way with the multicolor or the different types of metal paints is the way to go. I noticed that inside of the frame I had that cardboard edge, and I didn't want that. So I went ahead and I got some really thin skewers, and I cut them and glued them on the inside of the frame just to finish it off a touch. I didn't want to do all of this work and then have it look like I cut cardboard to make a frame. So I like this method because the skewers are thin and it just finishes it off nicely. They're lightweight, you know, the bamboo skewers, these little wooden skewers are really forgiving. The cardboard is forgiving, and I just think that it just is looking like I want it to look. Nothing's perfect. Hey, this is a work in progress. So I guess this is what trusting the process is, right guys? Let's trust the process. So this is what I mean about this Dollar Tree frame with the border. I cut the strips to fit in there, and wow guys, it just looks like it was made to go in there. I just love it. It brought it to the next level, and I'm just really excited to put it all together. So there we have our cardboard faux metal frame, and I'm going to construct it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that piece on first, because then I want to put the glass behind it. So I'm going to glue the little pattern onto the cardboard backer with some Elmer's glue. Stick that on really well. Make sure that it's nice and even, because this is going to be the backer. Now you guys can feel free to put a photo in here, whatever it is that you would like to put in here, but I like this little fleur-de-lis pattern. I think it's super cute. I put the mirror back in there, and now I'm gonna go ahead and put the frame back together. I think that it looks really good. It fits really well, and look at that guys. I think that it is so pretty. So you see the little corners, that was bothering me a little bit. So I went in with some glitter and some texture, and I just kind of like dabbed it on, and I just love the way it looks. So what do you guys think? And I just fell in love with this frame. I think that it came out really cute, and nobody can really tell that this is cardboard in here with some of those little Dollar Tree dots. In the places where you see the glitter, that is just to bring out the accent pieces, and this part has the glass in it. This part has the exposed cardboard with the dots, and I just thought that it was really pretty with this floral border. I love this frame. This is one of my favorites. Challenge number 5, Pottery Barn's frame rail grid. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with these frames. When I saw them, I instantly thought of that Pottery Barn frame, and I said, I am going to do this. Guys, when you start to do this, my big mistake was that I did not sand the edges. What I'm noticing with the Dollar Tree frames is that the coating on these frames is kind of slick. You know, it's coated with something nice. So that didn't stick very well. So I decided to go in with some sandpaper and start to sand the places that I wanted to stick together. I also noticed that it was just not going to cut it with hot glue only. Make sure that you sand both sides so that both sides grip together. I used some Gorilla Glue as well as some hot glue. Make sure that the frames are facing the same direction. We don't want you to put it all together and realize that some are upside down. So I went ahead and I put 3 spaces where I put the hot glue, and I put the 3 spaces where I put the Gorilla Glue, and I put the hot glue in the middle. Make sure they're on a flat surface with some paper towel underneath, because Gorilla Glue likes to slide and run and get on all of your surfaces. So I went ahead and I pinched them together and just waited for that to dry until I added the other pieces. I also went on the back and I went in the center with hot glue and secured it at the seam with some popsicle sticks. That just gives it a little bit of an extra reinforcement and makes sure that your frame doesn't, come apart while you're handling it or while you're hanging it. I will tell you, you do have to be careful with this piece because it's a little delicate and it can snap. But for right now, we're going to put this together with these reinforced popsicle sticks. And, we're going to go ahead and put it together with the reinforced popsicle sticks. Now we're going to stick, I put 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, and we're going to sand the sides, and then we're going to stick the bottoms together just like this. I'm going to repeat the process with the popsicle sticks and make sure the whole frame is just pretty much covered at the seams with this method. You're going to notice that there's little pieces that look like little lines that are missing. We're going to also cut down some popsicle sticks and put those at those seams so it looks exactly like the frame from Pottery Barn. Guys, I am so excited for this frame. I just love it. I think it's so clean. It's so beautiful. It really does look like the Pottery Barn frame. I just love that Dollar Tree has these kinds of frames. I think that we really nailed this DIY, and let me know if you guys want to try this. There's also smaller versions of these frames at the Dollar Tree. There's some square ones, and we can have a little bit, you can really have a lot of fun with the direction that you make this frame and the size that you make this frame. You can also mix sizes, do small and large ones all together, and just be as creative as you want to be with these frames. I would be really excited to see what you guys come up with. So see, I'm putting it right in the places where they appear. We're going to have 6 of these sticks because we're going to have 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top. Make sure to paint these sticks black before you put them on the frame, because you don't want it to be the natural color of the stick and then have to take it off and have those marks. So I went ahead and I painted the entire back of the frame black. I didn't want those popsicle sticks visible, and I cut out some cardstock just to put it in the middle where the pictures will go. They slide right in. Look at how beautiful that is. That looks exactly like the Pottery Barn frame. If I could find a space, maybe I'll hang it in the office. So guys, what do you think? What do you think of the designer dupe frames? I had so much fun making them. I just want to make more. I'm gonna have a house full of frames. I just love making them. I love to challenge myself. I love the fact that they are evergreen. They look like high-end pieces. And if you're on a budget and you really love designer things, these are perfect for you. I hope you guys try them. They're pretty easy to make. So I hope that you guys try them. Let me know which one is your favorite. Which one do you guys think is my favorite? So, ta-da! The Mackenzie-Childs, only because I love the black and white. You know, as you can tell, those are my colors in my room. So I just love this feel. I think that it is so beautiful, and this piece is my absolute favorite. Until the next one, peace.